Welcome to Bonger News Report, the first report of the second. In Essex, a dangerous dog attack, and the attempt to set up a travellers' camp in the South Downs, and long-lost film footage from the last days of the British Raj in India have been uncovered. We look at these.
We get in through the bloody British curry and chip shop, out the back door, into the alley and across to the officer's mess. Colonel Jumbo will be scuffing himself silly at 10 o'clock, so we grab him, drag the fat, drunken, bloody British swine to Vindaloo Halt railway station and put him on a train to Madras. Then we inform the governor that he is in our custody and forthwith issue our demands. Any questions?
What exactly are the demands?
We're giving the bloody British governor 2 days to persuade his bosses to dismantle the entire apparatus of the British Raj, the British Raj imperialist state. And if he doesn't agree immediately, we execute Colonel Jumbo.
How?
What do you mean, how? What kind of Indian are you? How do we execute Colonel Jumbo? We should be able to starve the blob to death in a few weeks. And I've got no sympathy for him. The bloody British, they've taken everything we had. Not just from us, but from our fathers and our fathers' fathers.
And from our fathers' fathers!
Yes? And from our fathers' 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 fathers. All right, Gupta, don't labour the point. And what have they ever given us in return?
Positive administration, that works.
Oh, yeah, they gave us that, that's true. And the sanitation.
Oh yes, the sanitation. Oh, you remember what the town used to be like?
All right, I grant you that administration and sanitation are two things that the bloody British have done.
And the roads?
Well, yes, obviously the roads go without saying. But apart from the administration, the sanitation and the roads...
From the bridges!
The railways! We've got the best railway system in the world! Would have cost a fortune and nobody in India could have built it!
And all it cost us was a load of useless spices!
Proper education, irrigation, farming techniques. I mean, we'd never have thought of using elephant crop for fertilizer to grow marrows.
Corner shops.
Yes, if it wasn't for corner shops, most of us would be out of work! Medicine!
Education.
Health!
Yes, all right, fair enough.
And the beer! Is that something we'd really miss if the Brits left? Good old India Pale Ale! And they pay us a fortune for our gut-rotting curry!
And it's safe to walk the streets at night now.
Yes, they certainly know how to keep order. Let's face it, they're the only ones who could in a place like this.
All right. But apart from the roads, the best railway system in the world, sanitation and medicine, education and irrigation, corner shops and public health, a brilliant farming system and a ready market for our crappy spices, public order, an economy that works. Apart from that, what have the bloody British ever done for us?
Nothing!
Well, I'm sure you'll agree that was a fascinating... We have breaking news. More on the dangerous dog attack in Leindon, Essex. We go over now to Danny Dork in Leindon.
Hello, Dickie. Yeah, well, the attack happened about 12 o'clock this morning, you know. He was walking down the road and he was attacked by this horrible, dangerous dog. Very dangerous. And, well, somebody actually took a picture of it.
Now, this dog is very dangerous and should not be approached. You may end up taking it home with you. Now, here's the picture that Danny mentioned. The dog is a wire-haired Essex Slapper, one of the breeds banned by the Dangerous Dogs Act. Now, anybody who has seen this dog should ring Whitehall 12. And to the ongoing standoff in the South Downs, where a group of travellers want to escape.
Pratt, people are saying that what you have done is little short of reckless vandalism.
Reckless? Giving people somewhere to live reckless? For goodness sake, these poor families have nowhere to go, and the part of the Hampshire Downs they are moving their caravans to is totally uninhabited.
Uninhabited?
Well, apart from the town of South Genevieve and the village of Burton and the rather picturesque...
So not quite uninhabited?
They will be a nuisance to nobody. These poor put-upon people have for decades been forced to move on every time...
But they're travellers. That's what they do.
Only because they're forced to. I want these people to be in one place long enough to do what they want to do, like get proper jobs and pay their taxes, clean up their rubbish and close their scrapyard.
And you yourself, you do live in your own constituency, the town of South Genevieve, do you not?
Not exactly, no.
But close by, surely.
I live on an island off the French coast. Well, for 2 weeks of the year when I'm not at my Jamaican beachfront property. But I know someone who lives in South Genevieve, or rather I used to, till he got locked up last week for helping me fiddle my expenses.
Mr. Naive, Pratt, it's not just the caravans, is it, that the residents are complaining about? It's the rubbish, the unlicensed scrap metal yard and the crapping horses they intend bringing along with them. The area will be ruined.
Nonsense! These people will be a boon to the community. Little nuisance to the locals. You can only hear the clanging and banging and drunken tirades and see the fires for about 20 miles around at most.
Is it true that your constituents are not altogether happy with your plans?
Well, they've promised to lynch me, if that's what you mean.
I'd like to bring the leader of the travellers, Mr. Pikey Pat, into the discussion. Mr. Pat, I trust that Pikey Pat is your real name.
Oh, yes, sir. Just ask the Inland Revenue peoples.
Mr. Pat, what do you think of Mr. Naive Pratt's plan to set up a traveller's site for you here in the Downs?
Oh, it's just fine, sir. Would have been better on the lawn in front of the Tower of London, but you can't have everything. That's what I always say, so's I do, sir.
And do you intend keeping the site clean and free from all that rubbish? Not like the abominable mess you left in Reading.
Reading is an abominable mess, sir.
Can't argue with that. But what kind of rubbish tip do you intend creating in the Hampshire Downs?
You can't call a scrapyard, cum sub-oil disposery and an unregistered animal slaughtering facility a rubbish tap. See, it's a self-contained domestic facility.
So you'll be keeping the site clean and tidy, Mr. Pat?
Within reason, sir. I mean, I'm not Postman Pat. We might not have the area completely free of cholera or anthrax. That's a hazard the community will have to live with. And the deafening noise from the scrapyard might be hard to stop. And all the projectile crapping of the horses and dogs and things after we feed 'em all that stuff that falls off the lorries. If it's hay what falls off the lorries, that's all right. But if something else, the crapping could get worse. You do understand, don't you, Pat, that by keeping the site clean there will be benefits for your... Benefits? Even more benefits? My God, they're dafter than I thought. Well,
What about tax?
What tax?
Well, you will be paying taxes.
Oh, yes, sir, of course. All the taxes. Any tax you can think of. And the VTA.
You mean VAT?
That as well. Oh yes, we'll pay all the tax. All the taxes.
But what if they step out of line, Mr. Naive Pratt?
They won't step out of line.
Won't matter if we do. Any plan to move us on will end up like my underpants in tatters. Income tax, VAT, all the consternation tax, every bit of tax you can think of.
And that was the news from Bonger News Report.